What's up, social media? Ben here, coming at you with another review of a thing. This time, also not in a box. Today, I'm continuing the review of the displays that I just got this week. And we're moving on up. This one's got moving parts. Here we got the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles countertop display for the GameCube here. It's all over the place. This one's not meant to be lifted up. But yeah. So, if you didn't see the other videos, this guy came into the shop I used to work for, and he had a bunch of stuff that he wasn't really able to put a price on. And so when someone has trouble putting a price on things, you know, I'll give him my number and work something out. And yeah, he had all sorts of display pieces because he used to work at Best Buy. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So let's take a look. So here we got the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles tabletop store display, I mean to say, for the Nintendo GameCube. So this store display, the center of it should be rotating right now, but who has D batteries? Like, let's be real. But yeah, so with this game, it's a pretty sweet game. It's a terrible game if it's one player, but as far as multiplayer, it's pretty sick. Oh, they even got it right here on the thing. So, if you look right here, they'll tell you all about how you can attach your Game Boy Advances to your GameCube, and you could play, you know, with them as a controller. It's multiple people makes it better, because it's like if you have one person, you have all the powers, and it's real boring. You just have this overpowered character. But if you have multiple people, it splits up the powers evenly. So, oh, see, there's some screenshots here showing off some of the. Here, I'm gonna just pick up the camera from the get-go. Yeah, there's some screenshots showing off some of the enemies. It's way more cutesy tootsy than most of these other Final Fantasy games, as you could sort of tell. But still, nonetheless, it's very good for being, I would say, a very underrated Final Fantasy. People who talk about it are either really fond of it because they played it with friends, or they think it kind of sucks because they played it by themselves. So here we got the full height. Very cool. Once I get those D batteries in there, it'll look real nice. It's got a little stand down here in this GameCube stand. It's like a cardboard box, like a plastic thing. It's got like a really cheesy little motor. So we look here, it's rated T for fantasy violence, you know, because they're not trying to scare the kids, I suppose. And, yeah, see. Journey alone or with friends using Game Boy Advance connectivity. You know, they're trying to sell 4 Game Boys for every GameCube. Good attachment rate that you're going for. Good attachment rate. You know. But then they got a couple of the classes here. You know, they got that guy I'd always pick because he had the weird helmet. They had the dude with the pointy hair, the sword. They had the girl with the dagger. You know, their classes were kind of like cheesy and similar. But if you have multiple players, they weren't that similar. It was pretty sweet. So this store display, it's like a triple layer thing. Open up. We got a little outer cone, action here. You know. Then we got a little inner cone action. So yeah, pop a little tea light in there, make the whole thing look better. It's got little foam boxes to hold that outer shell away from this inner shell. I think it's kind of clever for how like cheap and crappy it could have been. Like they really could have just had like the box as a big cardboard thing, but they didn't. They went all in. Made a real corny but good looking little GameCube stand display. So take this up, look here. It's a little plastic disc on a cardboard thing with these flaps. No big deal. No big deal. Lay that down. Very interesting. I like the design. I think it's kind of clever. They had this this spinning dial thing goes right there. That's the little motor that spins the whole unit. You can see some pins there, and it's just a bunch of little bearings and a hexagon that just spins. It's gonna spin slowly, but you can tell like when this is spinning, it's gonna be like, it's relatively quiet. I mean, I'll give it to them. Like they really didn't have to do all this. They really didn't. Then if you look in here, you got a little on-off switch, and then you can open up that thing, and it's a little cheesy box, but yeah. So I think it's pretty sweet. I was kind of blown away that this is by far the newest display that guy had. By a long shot. And I couldn't believe it was another like Final Fantasy one. Like he really only had like hits as far as store displays. Like there was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the Final Fantasy 7 one I showed, or 8 one I showed you. And then there was like Tekken 3. That's like the best Tekken. So it's like, I'm really shocked. He worked at Best Buy during a good era. Very interesting stuff. I'm glad he preserved this, because this stuff is so like fragile because it's so poorly made. So shout out to that guy. Shout out to that guy for keeping this stuff alive in the back of his closet. So I hope you guys enjoyed that review of the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles for GameCube store display. Just a piece of it. So yeah, if you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.